Thank you everyone for attending this evening. Goals for tonight, like Jessica mentioned, just to present this as quickly as possible so that you in the listening audience can ask as many questions as possible. Additionally, we want to answer as many questions as we can during the presentation, so you'll note that it is thorough. We presented about a year ago in August of 2019. This is almost an identical presentation. The only difference really is the location. Last year, we presented for 195 Dudley Street, which was too close to a school. Recognizing we were unlikely to receive a variance because we need to be outside of the 500-foot buffer from a school. And with the space openings in Nubian Square, we are now locating our business at 2177 Washington Street. It's important for us to note that no businesses were displaced due to us moving to this location. City on a Hill, the school that occupied the top 2 floors of the building we're moving into, they're consolidating onto their location at Circuit Street. And New York Fashion, which is the space that we are moving into, they decided not to renew their lease. They had a death in the family of the operator who ran the store for about 20 plus years. And his wife determined she did not want to continue on with the business, so they did not renew their lease. And finally, before we get started, I wanted to provide you with our website, and you'll see it right here on the screen. It's www.rootedinroxbury.com. You can learn more about our company, you can learn more about the industry, and you can find out how to get involved. Additionally, if you're moved by anything that you hear this evening, we would love your support. The easiest way to support is by going to rootedinroxbury.com/support. It'll take about 30 to 45 seconds to sign a letter of support, and there's no need to create an account. Everything is done through DocuSign. With all that being said, we can get started. The easiest way to get an understanding of what a company stands for is by reading their mission statement. So here's ours. To build a cannabis business that engages, serves, and benefits members of the Roxbury community through its financial success and social responsibility. This is who we are. This is what we stand for. This statement is a guidepost for everything that we do. Now, this will just be a quick business presentation sequence. This is what we're going to be going over tonight. Just a business overview, discussing our community engagement, how we are one with the community, what we feel makes us different, and then we'll take some questions or comments. So first, our business overview. Here you'll get a look at the ownership team. It's myself and my wife, Joanne. We live in Roxbury, just outside of Nubian Square. We're Boston residents our entire life, and we've lived in Roxbury specifically for 7 years. Our partners and co-owners, Salman and Rakia, they lived on Moreland Street for 20 years, and now they live off of Humboldt in Dorchester. If you are a fan of Indian cuisine, it may be worth noting that Salman and Rakia are owners of 3 Shanti restaurants in Dorchester, Rosendale, and Kendall Square. Additionally, they're owners of the Dudley Cafe in Nubian Square. And here you'll get a quick look at our location. And we are right here. That says New York Fashion. And just to give you kind of some spatial awareness, Haley House is right here. Daily Table is right here. Black Market is here. And the former Hamill Gallery is right here. The Blair lot, we're fortunate enough to probably be one of the, if not the only, cannabis business in Boston that has about 100 parking spaces right across the street from them in a city-owned lot. This is the outside of the location. And this is another view of the outside of the location right here. Now we'll do a quick overview of our operations. We are strictly looking to be a recreational business. So there will be no medical, no prescription. Our hope is to be open 7 days a week, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. with reduced hours on Sunday. Our goal is to keep the line indoors as much as possible, and we have a dedicated space for that line right here in the building. Additionally, we'll be investing in an order ahead system for pre-order pickups, which will have their own dedicated line, as well as a queue through phone system, allowing patrons to hold their place in line without standing in front of the store. Our goal is to, as much as we possibly can, keep a line from forming on Washington Street. So we're going to be taking steps to make sure that we can do that. While we're discussing our operations, this is a good opportunity to introduce Ware Security, Michael Ware. He won't be speaking, but this is just a quick note of his person of color owned security company with over 18 years of experience. You can see his credentials on the screen, but I think this is also a good opportunity to note how intentional we have been regarding working with vendors of color on this project. From our legal counsel, Derek Small, to our community counsel, Diane Wilkerson, to again our security consultant, Michael Ware, and even the designers of rootedinroxbury.com include Innovation, a Black-owned web design company based in Nubian Square. Brandon and Kristen Ransom, thank you so much. You guys did a great job. To close out operations, here's a quick look at our anticipated timeline. We've already done community feedback, and we're hope to be working on zoning in this month and next month. We would then start the the state approval process, hopefully in November. And then, the state approval process is a long process, so we anticipate, hopefully, being open in August of 2021. So now we're talking about community engagement. From our first application at 195 Dudley Street to this current iteration at 2177 Washington Street, we have been committed to a robust community engagement process. We proactively met with groups such as Mount Pleasant Neighborhood Association, Path Forward Neighborhood Association, Roxbury Main Streets, Haley House, Dudley Square Neighborhood Association, and many more. Our goal in bringing this to the community was not to perform this process in the shadows, but instead to bring people together to discuss a controversial topic and to find the best path forward for all involved. While having these discussions, we experienced much support from the community, but there were some common concerns that we wanted to address in this presentation. Community engagement feedback. Our community does not need this. This will be bad for the neighborhood. Cannabis is legal and is coming to Nubian Square regardless of opinion. Our choices are companies like Rooted in Roxbury or colonizers from Colorado. Local ownership will ensure cannabis is brought to this neighborhood appropriately and that our community reaps the benefits. I typically won't read a slide word for word like that, but I think it's important that I put that out there and made it clear and emphasize that this is happening, this is coming to this community, and we want to show you and prove to you that we are doing it right and that we are a good candidate. Which brings us right to our good neighbor policy. We view our customers as extensions of us, and we want to be good neighbors. In concert with our employees, security staff, and the neighborhood at large, we will enforce our good neighbor policies and will have all first-time customers sign a good neighbor pledge. The good neighbor pledge, I won't take credit for it. That was Tito Jackson's idea, and I completely stole that from him in his presentation. I want to give credit where credit is due. As we move through the next few slides, you'll see other areas where the good neighbor policy comes into play. Okay, but there's already so much traffic in Nubian Square. If you're a business owner in Nubian Square, the last thing you complain about is traffic, whether foot or vehicle. Every person, no matter how they pass or engage with your business, is an opportunity to convert that person into a new customer and new revenues. If we were in a residential area, I would completely understand, but Nubian Square is firmly a business district. My hope is for Rooted in Roxbury to bring many new customers to this area, and in a few slides, I'll show you how we plan to funnel that foot traffic we generate directly to other local businesses. All that being said, we do have plans for managing traffic and parking, including as mentioned before, Blair Lot and order ahead capabilities and other opportunities mentioned on the slide, but also encouraging public transportation and social commuting. Additionally, you'll see our neighborhood policy in effect. Double parking to just run in and grab something quickly will void your purchase and you will not be served. Whether you are a proponent or critic of cannabis, we're interested in working with you to hold us accountable and to the highest standard. We will create a community advisory board to serve that purpose, made up of residents and business owners from the community. One with the community. We plan on bringing a $1 billion plus industry to Nubian Square. We recognize this comes with much responsibility. To that end, we have a plan for giving back. The city will likely mandate that 3% of our revenues are allocated to a city-directed fund. On top of this, we plan on creating a community benefits fund comprised of community members who will be in charge of directing what worthy causes receive those funds. What excites me the most about giving back is something I mentioned earlier, which is how we will work to support other businesses in Nubian Square. We will create a program that incentivizes our customers to not only shop with us, but to also patronize other businesses in the square. Basically, if you shop with us and then shop at another Nubian Square business, they will offer you a discount, which we will reimburse on the back end. If you shop in Nubian Square and then shop with us, we will offer a discount on your day's purchase. As you'll see, we anticipate this program will generate $400,000 in new revenues to the business district. And that's $400 not for us in our business, that's $400 that would go to businesses like Haley House and Suya Joint and Frugal Bookstore and Soleil, local businesses that struggle because there's not enough foot traffic moving through Nubian Square with the dollars and the resources to spend money at their businesses. That's what they need. That's what separates Nubian Square from a Center Street in JP or a Clary Square in Hyde Park or a Lower Mills in Dorchester. Additionally, 5% of our equity on top of their salary and benefits, our employees will be able to take part in an equity program where they will be bonus based on the success of the business. Getting close to the end of the presentation. I don't know if I promised you it would be quick, but it is quick. Quicker than last year, which was 45 minutes or so. So thank you all for hanging on with me this long. We are a handful of slides away from completion. We are now going to discuss what makes us different, and I hope after this, we do earn your support. What makes us different is this. For the past 5 years, my partners and I have been approached by colonizers from California, Colorado, and Canada, all wanting the same thing, for us to be the face of their company in Boston. They would give us $1 million plus, and all we had to do was be a puppet and smile. We said no. We said we could do better, and I'm going to show you why I think we did. Our investors are our greatest differentiator, our investment team. They are 100% Boston-based. They are 100% people of color. They are 51% women, and they all live in Roxbury, Dorchester, Mattapan, and Hyde Park. That's where they sleep at night. That's where they go home. That's where they're from. With as small a donation as $1,250 and as large as $62,000, we have given people of color a seat at the table in a billion-dollar industry. And let's be honest, when billion-dollar opportunities come around, people of color are typically not included until there is a quota that needs to be filled. We've done it on the ground floor. And to give you a little color on our investors, I've included some street names. And if you know Roxbury and you know Dorchester, you know these street names because it's where you live and it's where your neighbors live. Our investors are your neighbors. And this kind of sums up everything that we anticipate doing with $400K in tax revenue, and that's separate from the $400,000 that we anticipate bringing to Nubian Square. The 25 plus jobs where we will focus on hiring locally and will be Corey friendly with a preference to those with cannabis infractions. And again, we're 100% local, person of color, local run and person of color invested, with 50% of our ownership being women and 51% of our investment team being women as well. And I always like to clarify, when I say people of color, we're about 80% Black, about 10% Latinx, and about 10% other. 0% of our funds come from outside of Boston, and 76% of the funds that we've raised are from within Roxbury. 100% of the investment opportunity, the jobs, and the benefits stay within the community. Thank you for your time. I look forward to your questions. And again, if you are at all moved by this presentation, please go to rootedinroxbury.com/support and take 30 to 45 seconds to sign our letter of support. Again, thank you for your time this evening.